Hello everyone, we'll study gametogenesis today. The formation of gametes is called as gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is the process of formation of gametes. It is of two types: spermatogenesis, which takes place in males, and oogenesis, which takes place in females. We'll take each of them individually. First, we are going to study spermatogenesis. The formation of male gametes, sperms, is called as spermatogenesis. This takes place inside the seminiferous tubules. Earlier, I have discussed about seminiferous tubules, and we know that inside the seminiferous tubules there are germinal epithelium that is present, and there are Sertoli cells. So in spermatogenesis, we are only going to talk about these germ cells. These were the Sertoli cells, these were the nursing cells inside the seminiferous tubules. So we are only going to see the germ cells. Now, one germ cell we are talking about. This is one germ cell which is diploid. That means it is 2n and it is having the double set of chromosomes. This will divide inside the seminiferous tubules and it will form two cells. Because this is mitotic division, which we say to be equational division, the daughter cells will also be 2n. And this will again divide and will form more daughter cells, and since each division is mitotic, we get the daughter cells also which are diploid. This is the very first phase called as multiplication phase. So, the first phase of spermatogenesis is the multiplication phase. Now, let us come to the second phase, which is called as the second phase is the growth phase. Now, we are taking one cell which will be increasing in size. It is due to the accumulation of all the food material and the nutritive material, and we are taking just one example of all the cells that were formed in the multiplication phase. The resultant, all these 2n cells are called as spermatogonia. Spermatogonia is the plural, spermatogonium is singular. So we are considering one spermatogonium, and the same will be happening with the other spermatogonia. This will increase in size due to accumulation of the nutritive material. So this phase is called as the growth phase. The third phase is called as the maturation phase. The maturation phase is essentially the process of meiosis. So when this cell, which we call now as primary spermatocyte, this cell is now known as primary spermatocyte, will undergo maturation phase, and this will divide meiotically. Now, meiosis is divided into two phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. So, this is meiosis 1, which is the reductional division. So, reductional division means the 2n set of chromosomes will be reduced to n. So, now the daughter cells will be n and will have 23 number of chromosomes. From diploid, the reduction has taken place in meiosis 1 and the daughter cells will be n, and this will again divide meiosis 2, which is now equational division, which is very similar to mitosis. but we call it as meiosis II. And since it is equational division, this was N, so the daughter cells will also be N. So there are 4 daughter cells which are haploid and are formed after meiosis II. The resultant of meiosis I is called as secondary spermatocyte. So what is formed after meiosis I, the 2 daughter cells, these are called secondary spermatocytes. But after meiosis II, the 4 daughter cells which are formed are called as spermatids. These are immature and are circular, and they will undergo a process which is called as spermiogenesis to form the sperms. The spermatids will go the process of spermiogenesis to form the mature spermatozoa or the sperms. Now, what is the difference between spermatids and sperms? Spermatids are circular structures and sperms have the tail. That means these are non-motile and these are motile. There are certain changes that will take place in the cell, especially in the Golgi body. I have already dealt in the structure of sperm. You may watch my videos to see the structure of sperm, in which we have studied that Golgi body will be forming the acrosome. The mitochondria will take a spiral shape and will be called as Nebenkern, and the centrioles will give rise to the tail and the spindle fibers that will be formed during the division of zygote. So these are the changes that will be taking place during the formation of a mature sperm, especially the long tail is formed. So one of the germ cell will form one of the primary spermatocytes is converting into 4 spermatids. So if we are considering 4 primary spermatocytes, they will form 16 sperms at a time. That means one germ cell can give rise to 16 sperms. So we considered just one germ cell, and this one germ cell after multiplication phase formed 4 spermatogonia, and we considered one primary spermatocyte. So one primary spermatocyte gave rise to 4 spermatids which formed 4 sperms. So if we consider all the 4 spermatogonia to form 4 primary spermatocytes, it will count to be 16. That means one germ cell gives rise to 16 sperms. Now let us see the second process, oogenesis, which takes place in female body. The process of formation of female gamete ovum is known as oogenesis. More or less the phases are the same. The first phase is the multiplication phase. We are taking one germ cell, and this germ cell is diploid and it will undergo the mitotic divisions to form four cells which are diploid or 2n, and each of them will be called as oogonium, and the plural is oogonia. Now we are going to consider one cell for the second phase called as the growth phase. Now in females, the growth phase essentially is about vitellogenesis. Vitellogenesis is the process of formation of yolk. This also I have discussed when I was teaching the structure of ovum in my previous videos. You may consult it. So the growth of the cell essentially is due to the accumulation of yolk, and it depends on which species the egg belongs to. For example, there are certain oviparous animals like hen and other birds which lay eggs. So once they lay egg, the egg is outside the parent's body and the entire nutritive material lies in the yolk itself. So they have to have more amount of yolk. So their egg is called as macrolecithal, in which the amount of yolk is more. While in human beings, since the placenta serves to be the nourishing cord, and therefore the yolk is very less, and so human egg is microlecithal. So the growth phase is taking place over here, but the yolk is not much, very less in fact, and therefore this is the size of the primary oocyte, which has increased amount of cytoplasm. This primary oocyte will undergo the third phase called as the maturation phase. The maturation phase, as I said, is meiosis. So when it will undergo the first meiotic division, which is the reductional division, this 2n primary oocyte will divide to form the daughter cells, which are haploid, and this particular stage is very important because there is only one ovum which is formed. Only one ovum is formed in the female body, and therefore the division of cytoplasm is unequal. The division of nucleus, which is karyokinesis, is the same, but the division of cytoplasm is unequal. So one cell is considerably small, but the other cell is considerably big, and this is called as secondary oocyte. And the small one, which does not retain enough amount of cytoplasm, is called as polar body. So this is the secondary oocyte, which is actually released by the ovary during ovulation. Although it is called as ovum, but it is not ovum, it is the secondary oocyte which is actually released during the ovulation. The secondary oocyte will then undergo meiotic II only when it is triggered by the presence of sperms. So triggering is necessary by the presence of sperms. So triggering by the presence of sperms only will allow this secondary oocyte to divide again. Now we know that there is only one ovum formed, so this will be the ovum which is again having enough amount of cytoplasm, and another small body which will be the polar body. This is haploid, and this is also haploid, but the unequal division of cytoplasm, the cytokinesis is not equal, and therefore one is very small, which is called as polar body. This is undergoing meiotic II to form this. This may even undergo meiosis II to form two small polar bodies, and therefore at the end it may be that there are three polar bodies which are formed, and there is one ovum which is formed. So this is the secondary oocyte, and this is the ovum which is formed at the end of the process of oogenesis. So this is all about the gametogenesis, that is spermatogenesis in males and oogenesis in females. If you have any doubt, you may ask me in the comment section, and you may even refer to the questions given in the description box. Thank you.